In this video, we're going to be refactoring our code. We'll be importing the previous Number Wizard script that we created in the Number Wizard console section and doing a little bit of analysis of what we need to change and then doing our first refactor of this code so it's ready to be used with our user interface. So let's jump in and do some refactoring. Okie dokie, first thing we need to do is grab the previous code, our Number Wizard code that we worked on from the Number Wizard console section of the course. If you don't have access to that, then you can download the file that I've attached to this lecture, numberwizard.cs, drag that into your scripts folder. Excellente. Next thing to do is to create a game object so we can attach our script to that game object. Right-click in the hierarchy, create empty. We'll rename this to gameplay. And as good practice, we reset the transform. Now we can drag our Number Wizard script as a component onto our gameplay game object. That means that when we run the game, the script will be run. Let's open up Number Wizard and have a look and see, refamiliarize ourselves with the old familiar code from a couple of sections ago. Okay, we've got some variables we're declaring up at the top here. We created a start game method where we're giving the player a whole bunch of here's how you play the game information. And then in our update method, we've got our player input where we're using our if and else if statements to see whether the player is pushed up or down or return. And get key down was the mechanism we're using in there for the player's input. Let's have a little look at what we need to do to refactor. What I'd like to do is serialize our variables at the top so that we can change them in the inspector and not have them hard-coded into our code here. Need to remove all of our debug information and then to change the player input. So instead of using our get key down keyboard input, we need to create public methods similar to that which we did in Scene Loader where we had public void load next scene, so that we can create public methods in here that we call from our button presses. So those are the three main chunks: serializing, removing the debug, and changing the player input that we need to do. And when I say we, of course I mean you. So what I'd like for you to do as a challenge is to start refactoring your code, serialize field for the min and max variables, to remove the debug dialog text that we don't require, and instead of if statements in update, to create two public methods, and we'll call them onPress higher and onPress lower. So those are the steps of the challenge. You should have everything you need to jump in and give that your best shot. And when you're ready, I'll see you back here and we'll go through the solution together. Rightio, first step is to serialize our variables. So serialize field for max and serialize field for min. I'll save that, just check that that has worked. Jump back over in here, click on gameplay. Yeah, after it compiles, click on gameplay, there we go. And you can see there is a max and a min in here that we could set to, say, 1001. Next steps, I'll just delete my debug text. Boom, get rid of all that. Anywhere we see debug, just gone. And also within the next guess method. So all of that has now been gone. Excellent. Next step, what was the next part of the challenge, was to create the public methods onPress higher and onPress lower. So we'll do that right above where we currently have update. We'll be deleting all of update in a moment, but for now we will start by creating public void onPress higher, parentheses, and then our curly braces. We need to do exactly the same logic that we're doing when we push up arrow. So I will grab the min equals guess and next guess method, copy that, paste it inside my onPress higher method here. Great. Second, we need to go public void onPress lower. This will be our other method. Again, curly braces. Where is our logic here? Max equals guess and next guess. Copy that, paste it within here. That looks pretty good. We don't need to have anything for our did you get it correct because we already have connected to our success button here. It calls the load next scene. So that's taken care of, which means we can delete all of our update method and everything that is contained within it. So now we just have our variables being declared at the top. A little bit of logic we need to tidy up in start game and our next guess. Oops, I accidentally deleted next guess. Don't do that. Don't delete next guess. Okay, so just delete what is in update. There we go. Thank you, red squiggly line, for letting me know I'd done something foolish. Okay, so on press higher, on press lower, and next guess we still have there. We'll save that. Now let's have a look at what's going on in start game just here. We've got our max equals max plus 1. That was our mechanism for making sure that we absolutely can get to a guess of 1,000. Because of rounding, if we say max plus min divided by 2, then we didn't end up getting to 1,000. It was 999 was the highest we could get to. I'm going to move that up to the top, our max equals max plus 1. So we can establish that straight away. And then we don't need to be reassigning max and min. We also don't need to have guess equals 500. That's hard-coded in there. I've got a whole ton of lines in here for some reason now. What we do need to do next is have some sort of guess. So what is our guess going to be? Well, guess, as we have down here, is max plus min divided by 2. So I'm going to copy that line within our next guess and put it in start game. So that as we did before, we're establishing, let's have a guess right at the start, but we don't hard-code it because up here, we might say that the max is, I don't know, 10,000 or 23, whatever we want to set in our inspector. In our inspector over here, whatever we are assigning as the max and the min. So then we need to have our calculation based on the variable max and the variable min right here in our start game method. Okay, so on start, we call start game. Excellent, we've tidied that up. We have on press higher, on press lower, and next guess. Excellent. So we've tidied up all of our code in here. It's looking pretty good. The one last step that we have to do is to display onto the screen what our guess actually is. And that's going to be the topic for the next lecture, where we're looking at the toString function and hooking up all of our text fields. So great work with your refactor. Great work in this video. And we're getting very close to finishing up our functionality. I think in the very next lecture, we'll have it so that we can play our game the whole way through. So great work, and see you again very shortly.